Thank you for this chance to contribute with you to the event. Is my presentation clear?
Yes, it's showing clearly to me.
My lecture title, The Multiplicity of Authorities Responsible for Managing Heritage Sites and Its Impact on Laws, a Shrine of the Prophet, Dhul Kifl, Babylon, Iraq. As you know, all heritage and historical sites have suffered from the multiplicity of agencies responsible for managing, maintaining, and operating these sites, which has clearly negatively affected the continuity of the ability to preserve these sites from loss and damage or a change of its features. The reason of failure of multiplicity of authorities responsible for heritage and historical sites is due to several reasons. Most important of a difference in the nature of work of each institution than the other, difference in the priorities and objectives in managing these sites, or difference in the financial and technical capacity according to size of each institution. For example, some of these institutions have maybe a large engineering capability, but it lacks experience in dealing with heritage sites. Some of them institutions have enough financial capacity, but the limited validity of their work in the sites. While we find that some institutions have very good experience in dealing with heritage and historical areas, but at the same time, they don't possess the financial and engineering resources to maintain the sites. For example, about these sites, we're discussing the shrine on the tomb of Prophet Dhul Kifl in the middle of Iraq, Babylon, Kifl city. The city of Kifl has a site consists of many elements. Some of these announced as historical elements, and the other are recorded as heritage elements. The city location and shrine belong to the modern Babylon period, so it has rebuilt many times through this long period of time. It is mentioned in many historical travelers. The location of Kifl shrine contains Nakhela Mosque, a shrine box, inner open court, dome, minarets, Khan Tamar, Khan Quraysh, and Khan Sif, and Suk Daniel also, as you can see on this map. For below figures, we can understand the land use of historical center of Kifl city, and we can recognize the age of fabric with elements beside the legal consideration of all elements according to Iraqi heritage law. The shrine dome. The oldest elements was the dome above the shrine, around 700 years. So it is back to the Seljuk period. A conical dome was built above the rectangular shrine. It was built of brick and plaster. The transition from rectangular shape to the square shape was done by creating two consecutive arches, one of which was obtuse and the other was cut. All Hanaya was established in the transition stage. The dome of the room with pointed arches. On top of it are 3 rows of small interconnected muqarnas. The uniqueness and rarity in the design of the dome give it an architectural value in addition to its archaeological value that reach more than 700 years. The dome's muqarnas from the inside. Mosque minarets. Also the minaret of Nekhela Mosque, studies have proven its return to the time of Ali Khani period. The minaret stands near the shrine in one of the corners of the mosque from the inside. It was built with plaster and bricks. It's distinguished by big height. It is 24 meters high, like the minaret of Al-Khulafa Mosque. The minaret has a square base, on top of which stands a thick cylindrical body and spiral stair inside it. Similar to the minarets of Baghdad, the cylindrical body ends with the balcony resting on four layers of muqarnas. This is mosque minarets. The interior of the mosques of the muqarnas is decorated with plants motifs and lettering decoration executed on bricks using a deep curving method similar to the muqarnas decoration of the Khulafa Mosque. The body is decorated with lettering decoration geometrical shape constructed on brick using a deep curving method. The neck of the minaret is relatively thick when compared to the minarets in Baghdad, which were built during the Abbasid era. The link between the minaret and khans is a juxtaposed functional relationship that affects the collective memory in the society and visitors. The khans beside the shrine were distinguished by their antiquity. They are estimated to be more than 350 years old. So it was announced as a heritage site from the State Board of Antiquity and Heritage. Also, there are no clear identification of their age. It is named Khan Quraysh, Khan Sif, and Khan Tamar. Its main function was trade and accommodate travelers to and from the city, especially those passing by it on their way to the holy city of Najaf to visit the holy shrine of Imam Ali. An archaeological campaign for the maintenance and restoration of the Khan was conducted in 1978 by the Antiquity and Heritage Foundation. The location of these khans are at the crossroad of travelers, in addition to their beside to the mosque and shrine. The architecture of these khans was distinguished by its multi-floors, a feature that was rarely widespread at that time, and used grilled clay bricks with plaster in their construction. They were constructed in the form of opposite arches, clear of decoration, and muqarnas. It's decorated by bricks were paved during construction, especially in arches, roofing, and vaults. This Khan al-Tamur, they were built in Abbasid arch, known as four center arch. This also Khan al-Tamur, opposite arch clear of decoration and muqarnas. This is Khan Quraysh. Khan Quraysh, it has a huge building with multi-floors. Also Khan Quraysh, a huge building with large area and many services. This is Khan Sif. Bricks were paved during construction. Interior decoration, stucco plants decoration. This is Souk Daniel. which is the newest component of the site's elements. Its commercial function is still present to the moment. It was established at the beginning of the last century, close to 100 years old. Souk Daniel, Souk intersection curves. This is ventilation and lighting holes at the top of the souk. Arches from inside the souk, and ventilation and lighting holes from inside the souk. This is decay of structural condition in souk and entrance of souk from inside the shrine. What happened? This responsibility for managing these sites belongs to 1. State Board of Antiquities and Heritage and the Real Estate Department of State and shared government. The ability of each institution is different in experience, in priority, and goal. All these reasons made the engineering work on locations change in its features and lose of many important elements and samples. Also affect on historical value and the absence of responsibility for the offender without any extensive study on this topic. Many parts were demolished, like the 3 khanat, and other parts were added, including a dome and 2 minarets of conflicting designs or inconsistent with the site, in addition to moving a group of symbolic graves in the site. The site is important at the level of the collective memory of the city and its surroundings, and was a development pillar for the region. Also, the economic activities were constructed around the shrine for many visitors to this place. So it has symbolism and significance at the level of the different religions. The decision of adding 2 copied minarets from the old one lead to lose the old minaret's dominance over the scene of the place and reduce its importance as an influential element. The dominance of conical dome and the cylindrical minaret in the urban skyline before the addition, comparing with the disappearance of that dominance after the addition of 2 minarets and a new dome. Unjustified addition to the mosque that dominated the original elements. 2 minarets were added, a copy from the old minaret, but in a smaller size. That it is a new decision doesn't have any historical or heritage reference. It is a purely subjective opinion because most Iraqi mosques consist of only 1 minaret. A dome has been added to the mosque prayer mihrab, but it is not related to or close to the conical dome style. The clarity of conical dome elements in the urban skyline compared to the confusion that occurred when adding another adjacent dome of a different style. The scene of the skyline is confused by the multiplicity elements, which no belong to urban scene. So it causing a confusion of the collective impression of the recipient. The unacceptable expansion that absents the dome from view. There is originally no dome above the mihrab. Either there is no need to add another element, change the scene of the site, or the addition must be according to a careful study within the context of the sea. Demolishing the Khan, despite announcing their as heritage site, converting the Khan site into services related to the mosque, and is definitely a wrong decision. The new dome was added in front of historic conical dome, which dominated it. The enormity of scale of a new element is unsuitable with human scale of urban fabric based the mosque. Changing the entrance feature and losing its human scale. The roofing of the mosque's summer prayer space is a bold decision to change the symbolism and spiritual impact of the space. Changing the finish pattern for ventilation and lighting holes. The conical dome's interior finish has changed the style and transformed into a geometric brick decoration. Changing locations of the graves of prophets, which these graves are mostly symbolic, but their locations also have a strong connection to this symbolism and can't be changed easily. It is noticed that the interior decorations are a plant stucco decoration, and they have been replaced by geometrical with a brickwork. Interior addition to vault and arches, which covered by geometric decoration made by brick. Geometric inscription and ornament in bricks instead of the stucco ornamentation and non-engraved arches. Not depending on local craftsmen in completing construction work and engraving, so the addition be conflict and non-harmonic. Adding strange material in the finishing on the mosque and the shrine, such as marble and granite, changing the shrine box to another one, completely with different design, is also a wrong decision because it is linked to the symbolism of another religion. Neglect the restoration of Souk Daniel and structural impact of construction work on Souk Daniel caused the deterioration and fall in several parts of it. It has believed that its intended issue in order to take advantages from space of Souk. Nothing that site is declared as heritage and registered with the General Directorate of Antiquity and Heritage. With the huge amount of engineering and construction work, no attempt has been made to restore the minaret and maintain the slope in it. And this is much better than adding two modern minarets, such as imitation copies of the original minaret. Unfortunately, now another conical domes in Baghdad is currently suffer the same problem. The Abbasid dome of the Sheikh Omar Sahrawardi, so the site belongs to the administration of Sunni endowment. It is responsible for financial matter and for managing the site, but it doesn't have the technical experts required for that. While the Board of Antiquity and Heritage is responsible for protecting and preserving the site, but it doesn't have the authority to interfere with the site. Therefore, maintenance at the site has been suspended for more than a year, despite the seriousness of the structural condition of the dome, and as evident in the attached picture. Therefore, we seek to place such area and site under an international convention that prevent dealing with them without a clear and announced plan. So could be under the responsibility of UNESCO in the absence of the ability to place all these sites under one authority. Thank you so much for listening, and over to you.